tired from kicking my booty, but that don't stop the necessity of sharing and caring and loving others. The best way that we can give love to others is by loving ourselves first. There is nothing stronger in this world than love, and we can only care for others when we first care for ourselves. This is not an easy task for a lot of people, but it is a necessary task to making the future better. Things like posture, breathing, and moving the body, and getting into stillness and finding the practices that best serve you and the reasoning behind why you do those things. Nobody can create those reasons for you, and sure as heck nobody can do the movement, the breathing, and the stillness for you. This is why I have started sharing my insights and my routines on a daily basis for probably about the last almost 2 years now. Super important. Most recently started sharing it on Facebook and as well as on YouTube. But changing the way that we love one another is not an easy task because our society is steeped in mind control and conditioning to engage with the distraction of the sensory pleasure organs, and there is little to no education on how to gain ownership over those sensory pleasure organs, other than what yoga has been teaching for thousands of years. But it has been perturbed greatly by Western society, and this is our future, this is our way of life, and we have to safeguard it and do the best that we can to really create a better future, and we do so through practice. Theory is only 1%, 99% of it needs to be and should be practice. So starting with sitting is super important. It is the entry into meditation. It is how we increase circulation throughout the entire body, but more importantly, the lower extremities and into the digestive, reproductive, and urinary tract organs, because we all use those on a daily basis. If we didn't, we would not be alive. So sitting is super important. I'm going to get into sitting on the floor, on the mat in a moment, but I'm going to talk about using props. Yoga block is super important to engaging into proper posture, especially if you do not find sitting on the floor comfortable. A good replacement for a yoga block is a thick book. If it is a hardcover book, make sure that you have a blanket or a towel to place over top of it so that you can add to the comfort in your stay here, because we will spend roughly about 10 to 12 minutes. If you do sit on a yoga block or a book, you want to sit as close to the edge as possible. This will increase the posture gained, and I will get into that once I get seated. But you want to sit to the edge of the yoga block. Additionally, this helps to get the feet underneath the legs and get you into that easy pose. If you can do half lotus or full lotus, those are more beneficial as they offer a more comfortable seated position, but you won't be doing that if you're sitting on a yoga block or a book. Initially, it is something to aspire to, but also is a tool to use to better yourself and just make your practice easier on yourself. So coming into our easy position, crossing the legs. Again, if you're sitting on that yoga block, This is meant to be able to get your feet underneath your legs. If you are sitting on the floor with me, you are going to engage into those sit bones, and if you're sitting on the yoga block, again, you are wanting to do this too. I'm taking my hand and reaching underneath my sit bones. Those are the bones at the bottom of our pelvis. Our glutes like to hang out there and stop us from sitting onto those bones, so it's super important to reach under your glute, your butt, and pull those muscles out of the way. This gets our pelvis from the tilted position into a vertical position, allowing that blood flow to get down to the lower extremities. Very important here is sitting into those bones because, again, your glutes are going to want to come back underneath those sit bones. So do your best here. It's not easy, not an easy practice, but it is necessary to gaining better posture throughout your day, throughout your life, and throughout whatever practices you choose to do, whether that is yoga, working out, riding bikes, swimming. You can use these practices in every day. We are engaging into what's called the power locks. They are known as Mahabandha. When you engage all three of the power locks, it is made to create an energy vessel inside your body. This is to help preserve energy when you are doing things that are physical and mental and spiritually exerting. So we can conserve energy, so we can practice those things for longer. We are engaging with our root chakra. It is at the base of our spine and in the pelvic region. This is Muladhara chakra, and it is known as Mula Bandha. This is the first power lock. We do this by engaging our pelvic floor muscles and pulling them up to the stomach as best we can. Again, this is not easy, so work at it. If you've ever done Kegel exercise, you will be very familiar with this. If you've never done Kegel exercise, that's totally fine. The imagery here is like you have to go to the bathroom very badly, but there is no bathroom in sight. Additionally, you can do this practice while going to the bathroom. If you are taking a pee, you stop peeing midstream. This is going to help strengthen those muscles and make this practice a lot easier for you. Additionally, it will help with digestion, constipation, urinary tract problems, digestive tract problems, your reproductive organs. It will help with posture. It'll help with circulation once again through diabetes, varicose veins, and I can't remember the last one, but it will help reduce the pain, blood clots in the legs. So it's very important to sit properly. Additionally, if you are a female, it will help reduce things like urinary tract infections, yeast infections, and for men, it will help the prostate and testicular pain. From there, we're pulling everything up to the tummy. We're moving up to our solar plexus chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, and Uddiyana Bandha is the next power lock that we're using. This is to protect the lumbar spine and flush the organs inside the abdominal region with fresh oxygen and blood. From here, we are pulling our belly button to our spine as best we can. Again, this is not an easy practice, so do your best. I've been practicing this for probably 5 or 6 years, and it is not an easy task to hold these things in place, but it is easy to do when you practice them regularly and you are determined to do so. From there, we are moving up to our chest. This is not a power lock, but it is meant to help protect the thoracic spine. Additionally, it helps to open the rib cage so that our diaphragm can expand and contract with ease, allowing for deeper breathing. We do this by using our rhomboid muscles, the muscles between our shoulder blades, and we're pulling our shoulder blades back and down the body. My back just cracked. That felt really good. So from here, we are just opening the chest nice and wide. If you want to, you can place the hands down by the spine to help keep the spine straight and strong. You can rest the hands on the knees or even in the lap. whatever you prefer to do here. This is just to protect the spine and allow for deeper breathing. Now we get up into the chin, into the throat chakra, Vishuddha chakra. And this is our last power lock, Jalandhara Bandha. This is super important because this is also tied to our breath cycle, and I'll get into that after we engage Jalandhara Bandha. From here, we are tucking our chin down 1/2 inch to 1 inch and imagining like we are a puppet on the string and we are being pulled to the sky with an invisible string. And this is helping to extend the cervical spine, especially in our generation. We look down at our phones a lot. So this helps to actually reduce the deformities that happen during that time between our thoracic and cervical spine. When we do this, we also help to restrict airflow through the esophagus, and I'm getting into the breath now. We want to engage into what's called ujjayi breath. Breathing through your nose is so important. It is one of the best ways to create the rhythmic vibration that gets our body out of the sympathetic nervous system, which causes stress, anxiety, depression. We focus on a lot of pain and suffering when we're in that sympathetic nervous system, and this helps to reverse that and get us into our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps with relaxation, stress reduction, pain reduction, and just helps to slow the mind and really get you into the present moment. As we engage to our breath, we want to take our tongue and place it at the roof of our mouth where the teeth and the gums meet. This is meant to be able to swirl the air in the back of your throat. And what this does is it creates a rhythmic vibration that helps to engage into that parasympathetic nervous system. But more importantly, this breathing helps by creating that rhythmic vibration and gives a little bit of a massage to the nervous system. There's no other way to do this other than doing ohms or cleansing breaths, which we will get into at the end of this breathing section. And really just taking the time to take care of the self. This is not an easy task, so it is very important to find the comfortability here. If you need a pillow or if you need to sit up against a wall because maybe your spine isn't super strong yet, and that's totally fine. Sitting against a wall is one of the best ways to engage into this practice so that you can practice it more and more and more and gain the benefits of practice. All right, from here, we're going to sit into this posture, engage into our ujjayi breath. We'll get about 4 minutes or so of breathing here. 3-second inhales through the nose, 4-second exhales through the nose. Whatever your inhale is, it doesn't have to be 3 seconds. Just make sure that your exhale is 1 second longer. Here we go. When we breathe, it's trying to sound like a breeze through the trees, a mountain breeze or an ocean breeze, the tides coming in and out, or maybe even if you know what a cobra breathing sounds like, or less poetically known as Darth Vader breathing. As we engage to our breath here, set your intentions. You can soften the gaze. If you're not comfortable with closing your eyes, find somewhere on the wall or on the floor to stare at that's not going to move. Or close the eyes. We are engaging in the first steps of turning off our sensory pleasure organs, but more importantly, focusing to the breath. Helps bring us into the present moment. Set your intention here, whatever your intention might be. Touch your toes, to tie your shoes without help, be more flexible, to be stronger, whatever it is. Nobody knows this intention but you. You can count the breaths here if you have an overactive mind. And really just let go of everything that happened before we started this practice. And let go of everything you need to do after you're done. Focus to your breathing, your breath. And this will be a glorious experience that maybe you've never experienced before. You are allowed to use affirmations here. The universe is really good at listening to you. And you are a very powerful being. You can ask for anything that you need back here. If it's love, if it's happiness, if it's strength, whatever it is, you can ask for that. Or you can tell yourself things like, I am powerful, I am happy, I am loved. Whatever it is that you need to tell yourself here, or ask for here from Spirit, from God, the Creator, whatever you want to call it. Really just engaging into the present moment. Alright, it's been almost 5 minutes in the breathing here. We're going to get some cleansing breaths in. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. Here we go. And we're sighing on the exhale. Use your full voice. One more. Here we go. Nice deep inhale. And sigh. Alright, from here we're going to get into some easy, gentle movement. We're going to take care of the spine. We're going to get some side stretching in. We're going to get into a little bit of the abdominals, because who doesn't use their abs? It's our core. We use it every day. And then we'll get onto our stomach, and we'll use our back. Very simple, very easy stuff. But very powerful in its ability to heal and help the body gain strength. So we're taking our left hand. It's going to be placed at the base of our spine, as close to the buttocks as possible. We are using our forearm to help brace the spine behind. Our opposite hand is placed on the opposite leg, and we're going to be looking over this shoulder. 5 breaths here. Here we go. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, twist, look over that shoulder. Nice deep inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist. 2. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 3. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 4. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 5. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Same thing, opposite side. Right hand's coming to the base of the spine, as close as you can to the buttocks, supporting that spine with the forearm. Opposite hand, opposite leg. And we're looking over that right shoulder. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, using that torso to twist, not the arm, and looking behind us. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 2. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 3. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 4. Inhale, release a little. Exhale and twist for 5. Inhale back to center. Here we go. We're getting into a side stretch here. Really just taking care of the body. I am going to turn sideways because we're going to do a wide-legged side stretch. This is going to offer the most extension, but also offer the most flexibility in your abilities. So you can go as deep or as shallow as you really want to here. Turning sideways, extending the legs out to a comfortable degree, whatever you might find. I like to use the yoga mat because it helps just keep the legs in place and helps stop them from sliding around. If I was going to use the floor, my legs might be sliding around a little bit more. So it's very important to have a solid, sticky surface that you can use. If you don't have a yoga mat, a blanket is a good placeholder until you can find a good yoga mat. But definitely finding something to really engage with that you can trust, that's going to not slip and slide around on you when you get into this practice. So again, you don't have to be as wide as me, but just listen to your body here. The goal here is just reaching our left hand down our left leg as far as you're comfortable. If you wanted to extend your reach, you could use a strap. Just to kind of give you an idea, you want to place the strap around the knuckles of the toes so that you're not pulling on the middle of the foot and you're not all the way up on the toes and you're just increasing your chances of injury. But basically you're using this as an extension to your grip. If you don't want to grab onto your pant legs, by all means you could use a strap or a belt to do the same thing as if you could reach to your toes. That's that. If you can reach to your toes, you're going to use your index finger and thumb or middle finger to wrap around your big toe, and you're going to grasp with your thumb just like a handle. So left side, we're starting on the left side to start. Get started here. And basically you're just listening to your body. We're starting by reaching our right arm to the sky. And then we're just reaching overhead. If you are very flexible, you could reach to the outside of the foot or just keep that big toe pose hold. But you're just trying to reach with a wedge in your fingers overhead and drive those fingers to the sky, feeling the stretch all the way from your fingertips down to your hip here. Here we go. And then you're trying to open up nice and wide, looking to the wall in front of you, the roof, the eye of the elbow, or the fingertips, whichever you prefer, for 5, for 4, 3 more breaths, 2 more, One more. As we come out of this, come back up. Reach both arms to the sky here. Get into those shoulder blades. Help reduce a little bit of stiffness there. And then we're exhaling. We're coming to the right side now. Reaching those fingers out. Grabbing on, using that strap or belt. Maybe you don't have either of those. You can grab onto the thigh, the shin, wherever you are at. The knee, your pants, socks if you're wearing them, whatever you prefer to do. Reaching that left arm to the sky, exhaling and reaching over, stretching out that body, driving those fingertips to the sky above the body. Reaching for 4, opening nice and wide for 3. This is 2. One more breath here. And exhale, come back to center. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Exhale, come out of that. Alright, from here, we have a abdominal work for you. This is very important to listen to your body. There are 3 variations here. This is known as boat or half boat. You have 3 options here. The first one is a little bit easier, the second one is a little more advanced, and the third one is very advanced. So listen to your body, don't push yourself too hard, but the idea is we're hugging the knees into the chest, and we are keeping one knee up and we are extending the opposite knee. So we're starting with the left foot. Hands can be wherever's comfortable if you want to hug the knees or the thighs in underneath the body. If you are struggling to keep your torso up straight, this is perfectly fine if you are just starting out. If you want to increase the strength gained, you're going to keep your hands out in front. You can put your hands behind your head as well, or overhead. It is entirely up to you. The higher the hands are, the more difficult this is. So we're just extending. You can keep the toes pulled towards the knee to help reduce cramping, or you can extend the toes, whichever you prefer. I like to pull my toes towards my knee. You're just trying to lift this leg as high as you can, keeping it parallel with the opposite leg. You get to choose here whichever one you're doing. We're going to do one side on each. If you are doing the half boat version, if you're doing the more advanced version, you are keeping the legs out in front and you are keeping the body in a V, and you are just holding the body with the hands behind the head. And you can even come down if you are struggling to keep your torso up straight. You can come into a crunch position, entirely up to you. The last version here is a full boat. It is both legs raised, not the half boat version. So I want you to do your best here. I'm going to be doing a full boat, so it's both hands reaching towards the sky as best we can, and we are trying to raise the feet in turn. However you want to do this. I like to point my toes in full boat. It's not easy, but if you're doing half boat, I will be calling to do the transition. So 5 breaths on each side. Here we go. 10 breaths if you're doing the full boat. This is 3, 4, 5. If you're half boat, you're switching legs, left or right, whichever you started with. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last breath. Coming on out, nice and gentle. Not easy, but super important to do. All right, we're getting onto our stomach. However is comfortable for you. I like to turn to the side and roll over onto my stomach from my hips. This is for our spine. It's super simple, super easy. It is called Sphinx pose, but basically you are looking like a sphinx. Your palms are out in front. You want a nice 90-degree angle from your shoulder to your elbow, and your elbow out to your hands out in front of the mat. Move back a little. The goal here is to keep the torso off the floor. So you're trying to lift your belly button off the floor. Then you're planting your toes into the floor and lifting your knees and thighs off the floor. So the only contact points are your elbows and hands and your feet and your hips. Not easy. 5 to 10 breaths. Here we go. Then we get to relax into Shavasana. I'll walk us through some relaxation, withdrawing our senses, and we'll finish with some gentle, easy movement to bring movement and blood flow back to the body from resting. We'll get a few cleansing breaths in and we'll be done. This is 5 more breaths. Lifting everything off. If you need to relax, then come back nice and strong into this. 3 more breaths. 2 more. 1 more breath. And come out of this. We're going to lie down onto our back. So I like to either shift my hips to the left side of the mat or the right, and then just roll over onto my back. Key tip here, if you have lower back pain, a pillow behind the knees or keeping the knees tented just like this is a good way to help reduce that pain that you might feel in your lower back. I can't listen to your body for you, but I can give you some of the ancient tools that have been used for thousands of years to help mitigate those problems. From here, we're getting into Shavasana, so you want to have your feet spread about hip width apart if you're coming into the full pose here. However you want to, however wide you want your legs, whatever is comfortable for you. Hip width or wider is recommended. Toes are spanning towards the outside walls, nice and relaxed, up through the feet, through the heels, in through the shins, the knees, the calves, the hips, and up through our lumbar spine, into our thoracic spine. In our thoracic spine, we want to do what we did with the posture. We're going to push into the backs of our elbows and the back of our head, and we're just going to roll our shoulder blades underneath our body, once again opening that rib cage, allowing our diaphragm to expand and contract with ease here. Palms are lying on the floor, face up, face down, or I like to do left hand on the heart center and right hand on the stomach. Entirely up to you, whatever's comfortable for you, that is what you should do here. From here, once again, tucking that chin down and engaging into the Ujjayi breath if you want to. It's entirely up to you here, or you can let the breath happen naturally. Ideally, you want to modify your breathing here, 3-second inhales, 4-second exhales until I get through the full relaxation. If you want to turn off some lights or dim some lights, entirely up to you. I'm just staying with my lights on for the sake of the practice. From here, engage that Ujjayi breath if you want to, tongue at the roof of the mouth where the teeth and the gums meet, allowing that air to cycle and swirl in the back of the throat. I'm going to tuck my chin down a little bit more and really extend my cervical spine here. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Closing your eyes if you can. If you're not comfortable, find a spot on the roof to stare at. Once again, letting go of everything that happened before we started. And letting go of everything you need to do after we are done here. If you've closed the eyes already, great. You're using the breath to stay in the present moment. Using the breath to distract the mind from the sense of sight, our most reliant sense, until we lose it, and then our other senses become heightened. In this sense, we are training the body to be less reliant on the sensory pleasure organs. Next, we're moving to the sense of smell, noticing the odors inside the room, maybe some coming from outside of the room. Really just focusing back to the breath to distract the mind from the sense of smell. Staying in the present moment. Counting the breaths if you need to with that overactive mind. We are only human. We can all succumb victim to it. Next, we're moving to the sense of sound, listening to the sounds inside the room and outside of the room, and then going to the sound furthest away, whatever that might be. A plane, a train, a busy street, a neighbor working loudly, or the neighborhood pet, whatever it might be. Focus back to the breath to distract the mind from the sense of sound. And last but not least, our sense of touch. Resisting the urge to move, to fidget, to adjust your clothing, to scratch that itch. Feeling the room temperature on the bare skin. Focus back to the breath to distract the mind from the sense of touch. From here, you can let the breath happen naturally for the next 4 to 6 minutes. And I'll bring you back into some gentle movement. That's been close to 6 minutes now. We're going to start by bringing some gentle movement back to the body, wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes. We'll get some wrist and ankle rotations going, a few rotations one way, and a few rotations the opposite way now. From here, we're going to flex into our abdominal muscles to help protect our spine and pull our knees up towards our stomach, hugging our knees in however you want to. And we're just rocking about 1 inch to 2 inches left and right. Very easy, nice and gentle here. Getting a massage through the kidneys, adrenal glands, and hips. From here, we're going to roll onto our right side when you're ready into a fetal position. And what we're going to do is we're reaching our right arm overhead, placing our head on the bicep as a pillow, left hand in front of the face, or hugging the knees in for stability, whichever you prefer. Few nice deep inhales and exhales here. And when you're ready, we're going to push back up to our comfortable cross-legged position. If you can keep your eyes closed, that would be beneficial for you. If you can't, that's fine, it's okay. As we engage back into our seated posture, get those glutes pulled out of the way. You don't have to engage the power locks here. Just get into that straight spine. Nice deep inhale for a cleansing breath. Here we go. Inhale. And sigh on the exhale. Two more. Inhale, nice and deep. And sigh. Last one, nice deep inhale. And sigh. Thanks for joining me for 45 minutes of taking care of the body. Super simple, super easy, but the effects can last long term, and the power that you will gain will be long term as well. This is a recommended practice if you are a beginner, 3 to 5 times a week. If you can, I know it's difficult being a human, and starting a new habit is not always easy, but super important to take care of yourself. My energy appreciates the energy in you. See you in the next one for half an hour, a little bit less explanation.